everyone, all people.
Just away!
Hey, it's me, GX, aka Chris, aka The Spin Dash, and you're listening to our season finale of Sega Sonic Radio. Hope you had a really basically acceptable year. I think that's kind of how it tops out, is 2025 ends as like the best case scenario is basically acceptable. Not to be not to start off completely downer, but hey, we're welcoming the weekend, and we're in the strange, we're in the armpit of it was a holiday, and then it was a weekend. So I'm welcoming you to the weekend, but also I'm welcoming you to the middle of the holiday. Hope you're having an excellent one, whatever the case. Tonight, to close things off, for the season, I racked my brain trying to think of, like, what could we do to wrap things off and have it feel like a little bit special? And the answer I came up with was, I want to do a host, or a staff choice. I've done host choice in the past where I've put together playlists myself. I've done listener choice where I take in as many requests as I can. This time I went out to our Sonic Stadium staff, our writers, our moderators, our site owner, and just asked, like, hey, give me some songs. I want you to help me put together a playlist to kick off the end of the year. And I was expecting, like, maybe 2 or 3 people to be like, yeah, throw you a couple songs. What I didn't expect was that they provided me with an entire show. An entire show's worth of music. And I am thankful and very excited about that. And I hope you are as well. It means that there's a lot of names here that you probably haven't seen on the show before. But I promise you, some of them are writers on the staff. Some of them are moderators in the Sonic Stadium message board. Some of them are people that occasionally pop in over on the Discord. But all of them help make Sonic Stadium what it is. And that comes with a strong appreciation, because Sonic Stadium without its staff is not much. It's just a subreddit. And I think having the people behind it who are what they are and do what they do help define it a little bit better than that. So with that, we're kicking off our first piece of music with none other than Dreadnoughts himself. We also have a couple other requests, which you will see and I will highlight after the end of them. But we're kicking it off with, 2025's big Sonic game. There are many Sonic games, but one of them is the big Sonic game. And, of course, is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Take a listen. I hope you enjoy. And I'll catch you guys after. Welcome back. That was Crystal Mine from Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, as requested by Dreadnux. Followed up by Full Metal Fighter from Musha on the Genesis, requested by Knuckles87. Wrapping it up with Grand Metropolis from Sonic Heroes, requested by Tempo Blues. Hope you had a pleasant holiday. Nothing too crazy or special going on in the GX household. Just myself and one family member, and no specific plans. Hardly any Christmas. Hardly any Christmas, to be honest. Not much gift giving this year. Not much visiting this year. Not much doing anything. Hopefully yours was significantly more eventful than mine was. Mine was my Christmas was predominantly working on the back-end code for the next season of Sega Sonic Radio, and I'm not even lying. That is the majority of what I was doing across Christmas. That said, like, I did make a pretty decent roast, and it was good. It's good to have for dinner. Nice change of pace. Nice dinner. If you have solid Christmas experiences that you want to share, you can always share them in chat. You can share them in the comments, however you want to share them. And with that, I think we'll head over. Our next request hits us from SSF 1991, as well as 2 other requesters directly after. It's time to head to Sonic Unleashed. Enjoy! Catch you guys on the other side. Hey, welcome back. That was Cool Edge Day from Sonic Unleashed, as requested by SSF 1991, followed up by Frozen Hillside Zone from Sonic Robo Blast 2, requested by Sean, and although the overlay did not say it because I entered wrong data into it, that was Alone from Persona 4, as requested by Zaysho. I have the album as Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4, and then I entered in Persona 4 in the album, and JavaScript said, "These are not equal values. It is not a request." So you can blame me. But what you can't blame me for, you can never blame me for this, because it's time for the Quizone. It's our first quiz of the evening, and in the Quizone, I give you a Sonic trivia question to test your Sonic trivia skills. As always, you are welcome to guess in chat if you would like. If you don't want to guess in chat, you certainly don't have to. We'll let you know the answer afterwards if you don't want to be spoiled. And tonight's first question is a question about Sonic Spinball. Let's take a listen. Outside of Japan, the 16-bit and 8-bit Master System and Game Gear versions of Sonic Spinball have nearly identical cover illustrations. My pronunciation tonight leaves something to be desired. Outside of Japan, the 16 and 18-bit Master System and Game Gear versions of Sonic Spinball have nearly identical cover illustrations, except for what major difference? What is different between them? You can get your guesses in, and while you do, we're gonna listen to this Spinball theme. Enjoy, and we'll let you know the answer afterwards. That was Spinball theme from the Virtual Sonic album. So once again, for the Quizone, outside of Japan, the 16-bit and 18-bit Master System and Game Gear versions of Sonic Spinball have nearly identical cover illustrations except for one major difference. And as Chow Fan and Sonic Trainer brought up, it is indeed... They changed which Dr. Robotnik it is. For the Genesis version, he's sort of this, we'll say, closer to the game version. Similar to the way that they illustrated him for Sonic 2. And then for some reason, for Sonic Spinball, they switched him, or for Sonic Spinball for Game Gear and Master System, they switched him over to the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog version. So that's the easier noticeable factor for it. There are some other more weird inconsistencies. For example, the Game Gear version of Sonic kind of has a softer look to him, and he has 5 fingers instead of 4. They drew him with 4 fingers for the Genesis illustration of Sonic Spinball, and then they swapped him to the 5-finger version for Game Gear. It's kind of hilarious the way that it's swapped in that way. Arguably, the Robotnik on the Genesis version is at least somewhat closer to his Japanese design. Like, it's obviously not the same, but it's far closer. He still has the style of clothing and everything. It's about as close as, again, the Sonic 2 design. But the version of Sonic, the illustration of Sonic, is his much more westernized version. He has the spikes aren't really well positioned as part of his head. They're sort of in the more mohawk style, as if his head is a sphere and the spikes just sort of grow out of them in a saw blade form. Whereas the Game Gear has the much more westernized version of Dr. Robotnik, but a much more, we'll say, version of Sonic that is a little more consistent with the Japanese design. It's like entirely flip-flop for whatever reason. It's the strangest choice. And it was true for both the Master System and Game Gear. They both use the same illustration. It's the strangest thing. I wish I could tell you why that is as it was, Sonic Trainer. But weird inconsistency for that box art design. Very odd. It's strange that they would bother to do it at all and not just have the same one across them, because they're not that different. And then, of course, the Japanese Mega Drive box art is the same sort of very Art Deco style, like geometric styled Sonic that they went for the other Japanese box art. So that one is too entirely different, but it has no version of Dr. Eggman / Robotnik on it. So what are you gonna do there? Our next request comes at you from one of my co-hosts over on the Sonic Talk podcast and one of our news writers, Shigs. If you don't listen to the podcast much, then you probably haven't seen or heard from him lately, but he continues to contribute to Sonic Stadium in his own ways, in his own time. Let's take a listen. We're heading over to Sonic Colors. Enjoy. Catch you guys on the other side. Hey, welcome back. Sorry, doing things on the back end. That was Sweet Mountain Act 1 from Sonic Colors, as requested by Shigs. Followed up by Dragon Road Day. Okay, let me get this right. Camilla's Fusion and Drum and Bass Remix. The remix best featured in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. And wrapping it... Oh, that was requested by Striker X5. Wrapping it up with High Spec Robo Go from Sonic Mania, requested by Dreadnux himself. Will there be quizzes during the final episodes? We already had one. We already had one, Rusty. We're having a full-on episode here. just a complete and total episode, and not just the emotional one that I have every week, trying to make everything in this work. I just need to huddle in a quarter and, have, just every episode of Sega Sonic Radio usually involves at least 3 prerequisite hours of sitting in a corner and crying, and then walking over to my PC and hitting it until it does everything it needs to do. That's the creative process here. That's the creative and the technical process. Let's be real here. However, I hope that there was no corner crying for the next set of requests. Our first one comes in from Tempo Blues, one of our site moderators, and it's taken us back over to the Crossworlds. Let's take, the Crossworlds by way of another game. Let's take a listen. Catch you guys in a bit. Hey, welcome back. That was Chronos Island Falling Stars, or Stars Falling remix from Sonic Racing Cross World, requested by Tempo Blues. Followed up by Da'at Ueno, requested by Sean from Shin Megami Tensei 5. Wrapping it up with Ice Cap Zone Act 2 from Sonic the Hedgehog 3, requested by SSF 1991. It's time for yet another quiz tonight. And of course, it's the middle of the show, and that means it's time for the audio cue. It'll be a short one this time. It's going to be a short one, so you're going to have to get your guesses in fast. What game from a Sega-owned studio is this song from? As always, you are welcome to guess in chat if you would like. If you don't want to guess in chat, you don't have to. You can hide chat or switch to audio-only mode or whatever you want to do, and we'll let you know the answer afterwards. So take a listen and see if you can figure out what game this brief one might be from. That's about a minute long. It's about a minute long. Not quite 7 seconds. Yeah, I am muted. I got one of those an episode. It's been a while since I've had an issue with that. I thought I pressed the button to unmute myself, but apparently not. But, yeah, Knuckles over in chat says, obviously. I was like, well, it's not obvious if you haven't played that game. I would tell you, I would not be able to identify this game by that song. But they are indeed correct. This is Angry Birds. This is Angry Birds. This is the Angry Birds theme from Angry Birds. From the game, yeah, like, hey, Rovio's a new acquisition. Would you believe I've been trying to get the Angry Birds music for the show since as early as the acquisition happened, and I hit the roadblock of there being like 30 of these freaking games. Seriously, there are so many Angry Birds games. So many of them, especially if you include like the spin-offy stuff, the service games, the weird stylistic digressions. There's like one that they tried to go serious with that I think is still ongoing, and there are others that are like this puzzle game that they are still continuing to support. It's insane trying to go down the rabbit hole of figuring out what in 2025 is Angry Birds. I don't have a good answer to that. It's a brand that continues to propagate itself over the strength of the brand that, near as I can tell, has largely tried to escape that brand, but can't quite seem to. it's a weird situation. I don't know what to make of it. It made sense in the early days of mobile. Like, I don't know if you remember the early days of mobile. Who here is even old enough to do so? But there was a time when it was just like, okay, you could make a game, you could sell it for, up to maybe $5, and get a lot of players off the back of, like, a small marketplace. And then when things changed to free-to-play, that kind of made the ask a little bit more demanding. Like, every game that was released was a much bigger risk, so the games had to escalate in their scope and escalate in their monetary demands off of the people who would be willing to pay for that. Boy, it's weird. Boy, it's weird. Sonic Trainer in chat is saying that the line of demarcation is Farmville, which is probably a good point of reference there. I might say that that for me that line was God, I don't even remember what the name of the game was, but it was the Smurfs game. And it was the degree to which parents were discovering that they were getting $200, $300, $400 charges on their accounts from their children buying Smurf berries to accelerate town building. Like, that's small change compared to where that marketplace has gone since. But it's funny. My understanding is that Rovio actually put out a classic version of Angry Birds, one that you could just buy and not have any sort of transactions associated with it. And the problem was that it was too successful. That people did not necessarily want to go back to the microtransaction version of it, which is hilarious to think about. Mobile games are weird. I'm not going to say I was ever big into mobile games. I'm not a hater of mobile games, but boy, is that marketplace weird, and in a way that I absolutely do not want to deal with most of the time. Ask me how many hours I've put into Sonic Rumble, and then I will point to a series of streams I have done and said, that is the entire extent of time that I have put into Sonic Rumble. I have put no personal time into Sonic Rumble. It is all business time. Oh, but it looks like Striker X5 is giving you the business. Sure, why not? We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that transition with some Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, a game that is apparently making the news based off of some found code, some recently found code that might provide an interesting future for that game coming up, which I'm sure we'll report on in the near future, if you're curious. So let's take a listen. We got that, and we got 2 other requests, and then, we'll probably take a break and then have more music after that. It's the structure of the show. You've listened to 3 whole years of this shtick. You probably know how it goes. Anyway, enjoy. Hey, welcome back. That was Ungriffidify. Is that how is that how you're supposed to? I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Ungriffidify. Something like that. It's from Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. It was requested by Striker X5. It was followed up by Wishes in the Wind, cyberspace stage from Sonic Frontiers, requested by Zayshow. And we're wrapping it up with a little bit more Sonic Frontiers with the fan favorite Undefeatable, requested by Shigs. Gonna head over right into our next set of requests. This one kicks off with one from Knuckles87. A little bit of a Christmassy vibe in the middle of the show here. We definitely have some people who decided, hey, I want to use mine for the to project a sense of the Christmas spirit, or the holiday spirit, or the winter spirit. Got in some good recommendations from that, and very appropriately, we've got some Nights coming at ya. Starting with some Nights Journey of Dreams. This one might be a little bit of a long one, so tuck in, get warm, get some hot cocoa or some warm cider or whatever brings you comfort in times of, I don't know, nights into dreams. I'm always looking for comfort whenever I have to deal with nights into dreams. Anyway, here it is. Enjoy! See you in a bit. Hey, welcome back. That was Merry Memory Go Round from Knight's Journey of Dreams, as requested by Knuckles87, followed up by Jack Frost's Chime from Christmas Nights into Dreams, requested by SSF1991, wrapping it up with Robotnik Winter Zone Act 1 from Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit, requested by Sean. It's getting late, but we've got one more quiz for you, and it's a Triple Trouble. Our last Triple Trouble of the year. Our final one of the year. You're going to miss it so thoroughly. I'm going to miss having a backlog of them because we've gone through so many and I am literally starting to run out of trivia stuff. It's hard coming up with trivia, my dudes and dudettes and everyone in between. I'm gonna have to come up with some interesting new ideas for this stuff. I could do music quizzes forever. Like, I could do those for days. Like, there are so many Sega games. There are so many Sega games. Hundreds and hundreds. Literally, I think more than 1,000. Many of which I do have soundtracks that I have access to reasonably. But yeah, it's a Triple Trouble. As always, 3 of these things have something in common. One of them does not belong. It's your job to figure out which of them does not belong. You're always welcome to guess in chat if you want. If you don't want to guess in chat, you certainly do not have to. And the topic is Sonic Adventure 2. Your choices are tight, jammin', amazing, extreme. Which of these 4 does not belong with the other 3? While you figure that out, here's That's the Way I Like It, Sonic Adventure Music Experience version from the Sonic Adventure Music Experience album. Take a listen, enjoy, answer! I'll see you on the other side. That's the Way I Like It, SAME version from the Sonic Adventure Music Experience Volume 2. Once again, your triple treble is tight, jammin', amazing, extreme. The Sonic Trainer pointed out in chat, it is indeed amazing. Tight, Jammin', and Extreme are combo bonus tiers in Sonic Adventure 2, and Amazing is an air trick bonus in Sonic Colors. The one where Roger Craig Smith just shouts words at you as you do air tricks. That one. That's the one. The one that you're thinking when you mash the A button and Sonic just does like 20 tricks in the air and gets additional height. That one. That's our last quiz. That's our last quiz for the year. Goodbye, Quiz Board. Goodbye, Orbot. Goodbye, Qbot. You will be missed, but you will return someday. But first, before it eventually returns, we have another request in. Again, kicking off this segment is another request from Striker X5, as well as some others. We got 2 other requests in this 3-song segment that we were structured around. And it's from Burnin' Rangers. So let's put out some fires in the future land. Through the something sky we fly. Anyway, here's the music.
Don't say you wanna cry. Don't forget your smile. Coming in, hold on tight. Power of our teamwork overcomes all. Yeah. They will never let you down. That's our burning rangers. Wow. Don't you lose your hopes now. We must be the light of hope for the ones counting on us in the darkness.
was a little kid, I used to tell my uncle I wanna be in this music biz. I used to ditch my school for this. I told my uncle I'll make it and buy mama a newer crib. Have her drive the newest whips, looking fly as she cruises strips in Vegas. Let her bump my songs as loud as music gets. She can't even hear herself thinking, not even with new Q-tips, it's ludicrous. Sit in my grandma's house and I reminisce on how fun it was having dreams. Back when I was just a kid and just a kid around, we used to battle at lunch in the park. Me and my they flow easily apart, and now it's not a game. I've sacrificed a lot of things, lost my girlfriend and my mama, but look, I will not complain. I keep my head above the clouds, sorta like when I ride a plane, and I maintain my focus. I'm looking out for a brighter day. Hopefully God will save me, guide me to a brighter path. Cause lately I've been in my room crying way more than I can laugh. If I can have anything I wanted, it'd be success. And a real relief from all the stress and grim. It told me I've been blessed, and there's people that's out there steadily praying for me. They must not be believers, cause they're praying, they paying, homie. I'm feeling so damn lonely. Hopefully a UFO will come and just land on me, but God's got a plan for me. pain. So I just put in work and I look at my foot, it hurts from trying to stick it in that door and they close it. That would it hurts. It could be worse. I could be cursed. Luckily though, I could rehearse my life, but I know next time exactly how hard I should have worked. It's scary now cause people don't understand me. I'm even skeptical of my family because they talk about me way more and worse than most of my enemies would talk about me. And they've encouraged me though they doubt me, but I ain't pouting, maybe weeping. I feel weak in my knees, but I keep on keeping on and continue writing and recording these songs until I'm gone. Yeah, nobody knows. I'll be alright though. I'll be okay. When I was young, I used to get nervous when they said spit your verses, cause my verses had no curses, and I ain't talk about murder, so I spit it off the head. Grandma used to wake up at nighttime and tell me go to bed, quit writing rhymes and get some rest and save some lead for your homework tomorrow, boy, and your schoolwork. But by the looks of my grades, you can tell I didn't do it. That's when she took my computer and the phone and said I couldn't use a phone until I improved my grades. I felt like a loser, so I sit in my room and listen to instrumentals and hope that I'd make the rhyme that makes people say he's official. It just tickles me a little, thinking of all the punishments. Maybe me and music wasn't meant to be, but I love this. Because of this, I feel relaxed when I wanna grab something, stab someone. I just write a rap and I'm back loving. Glad nothing's gonna stop me from pursuing my dreams. And I remember when I had nothing. If I do get this cream, I feel I deserve it, cause I'm one of the realest living beings, taking nothing for granted. I'm happy to be living and breathing, really eating and speaking. But I know that there's more to life, and all the mics I spit on, I can say the boy is nice, trying to climb that success ladder. Since mom and dad are never ever gonna get back together, it's up to me to make it better. Be the umbrella through the weather, that's where I stand. I'm focusing, becoming a man as fast as I can. Graham told me I got time, take it when she woke me up with bacon. Gave me some inspiration, at times I felt I wouldn't make it. All she wanted in return was me to ask her how a date went. Didn't even have to pay rent, though I did make a few payments, cause don't want no one to feel like they're being used, and being used a bad feeling. Trust me dog, I've been through it. Me and music's all I need, me and music's all I have. That's why I continue writing these raps. Yes.
Hey, welcome back. That was We Are Burning Rangers from Burning Rangers, as requested by Striker X5. Followed up by Windmill Island Day, requested by Shigs. Wrapping it up with Memories Frozen in Time, requested by Zaysho, a fine overclocked remix. You can find it and so many more over at ocremix.org. Go check them out. We're approaching the end of the night. We've got one more trio of songs before our closer. And with that, I think we're just going to get right into it. Our last segment kicked off by Tempo Blues, wanting a bit more Sonic Unleashed. We're approaching the end, so have a fine ending. Catch you guys in a bit. Hey, welcome back. That was Supersonic vs. Perfect Dark Gaia from Sonic Unleashed, requested by Tempo Blues. Followed up by Save This World, orchestra version from Phantasy Star Universe, requested by Knuckles87. And closing things up with Escape from the City, Teddy Lloyd x Jun Sanao remix from Sonic X Shadow Generations album version, Perfect Reflections, etc., etc. Dude, album exclusive remix. It's in the album. I don't know if it's in the game, it's in the album. So yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who tuned in this year. Thank you everyone who contributed. Thank you everyone who participated in trivia. Thank you everyone who, just had a good time with it. Sega Sonic Radio is a fun thing for me to do, and I've been so happy to be able to do it across the 3-ish years, 3 non-consecutive years that I've done the show so far, something like that. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to do it going forward. I've got some big things planned, some big technical fancy things planned for the upcoming season, though at the heart of it, it's still going to be the same old Sega Sonic Radio. Getting in listener requests, putting together a great solid playlist that feels like it flows, and most importantly, welcoming you to the weekend. So with that, I think it's about time to wrap things up. As always, my opinions are our own, but the show broadly is brought to you by Sonic Stadium and the fine people over at Sonic Stadium at sonicstadium.org, one of the internet's longest-running fan sites. We've got game coverage, we've got merch coverage, we've got movie and animation coverage, we've got coverage of fan games and unreleased games and bizarre prototype versions of games, all manner of things over there. We've got forums, we've got a Discord. We've got so much great stuff going on over there, so go check it out. Again, that's sonicstadium.org. As a reminder, this is our season finale. We are done for the rest of the year, for as much as the year has a rest left. And we will be back in February with Season 4. With that in mind, I want you to go ahead and head over to our YouTube channel. Just search Sonic or Sega Sonic Radio on YouTube and give it a subscribe. I have a backlog of VODs that need to go up, and that is going to be one of my priorities during the break. There is not only all of Season 1... Did I say Season... What season am I on? I keep saying Season 3. Am I on Season... I guess I'm... No, this is Season... My brain is melted. It's the 3rd season, but it is Season 2. That's the problem. The problem is it's the 3rd season, but it's called Season 2. I have gone insane. So, all the more reason to close things out. And there's only one way that I can think of to close things out. There's only one way. And it's with this. Enjoy. Have a happy new year. And I will catch you guys in February. Peace, y'all. You know we have one more closer. You know we've got the final closer. This one says thank you to everyone.
Finally, we can relate. Our side by side, this is fate. I knew all along we'd find some way to communicate. I've been here Oh, yeah!
Peace, everyone. Catch you next year.